Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa, morena, and welcome to this very special day for you all here in the Legislative Council chamber for these Freemasons scholarship presentations. I'm Kevin Nelson. I've been asked to conduct these ceremonies today as MC, and a special welcome will be, of course, conveyed to you all by our Grand Master and others shortly. But I'm required under the authorities of Parliament here to read the following from the authorities. The usual housekeeping. In a fire, should the alarm sound, please evacuate the venue via the same route you entered or via the nearest exit. Please follow the directions of security staff and the fire wardens. The evacuation assembly point is Bolger Park at the rear of Parliament. In the event of a medical emergency, please refrain from calling 111. Inform security or venue staff immediately. Security will manage any medical emergency within the parliamentary complex. In the event of an earthquake, drop, cover and hold until it stops. Please keep away from the windows and other obvious hazards in the venue. Please remain inside the venue and await instructions from the security staff. On arrival, you are issued with visitor stickers. Please ensure it's clearly visible and do not remove or discard it. While I'm on that subject, though, and no one's listening from the authorities, I hope, I'm going to ask the students, the recipients rather, if they would be kind enough to just slightly conceal those because of the photographs that will follow. So if you could just take, not the others, just the recipients. And no one heard me say that, all right? The toilet facilities for the Legislative Council chamber are located out the door and down the left-hand corridor, as well as downstairs on the ground floor near the main entrance. All buildings, parliamentary buildings, are smoke-free. Guests are only welcome to smoke outside the main gates on Molesworth Street. Please switch your mobile phone to silent for the duration of the event. Photos are permitted within the Legislative Council room only. Please do not take photographs anywhere outside this room. And just while we're doing that, I'm going to set by example because I've realised the same thing. And if you'd be kind enough just to set yours to mute, that would be much appreciated. Now, it's my pleasure to open the proceedings this afternoon, and with very real pleasure because he's been a great supporter to us in the past as well. My pleasure to introduce the MP Greg O'Connor to address us as our host. Thank you, Greg.
Kia ora, Kevin. Te hei mori ora, ina mana, ina reo, ina marawaka. Nau mai haere mai, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. And welcome to your house. Welcome to the provincial chambers, and as I sit in here, this chamber is very much part of our history in New Zealand, of politics, but just as the growth of New Zealand as a nation. It was originally the Provincial Council, and then it was where our equivalent of the House of Lords sat, until we decided we only wanted one parliament and all the business is done next door. So it is used for very important events like this, and you can't get much more important an event than something that brings all of New Zealand together, the flower of our youth, if you like, and their families together under one roof. And to be welcomed by myself as a local MP, but more importantly, be part of an organisation that has been part of the fabric, certainly of the European settlement of New Zealand. It's always, at these events, it's always good to have a little bit of a play with AI and play with social media. And I see that the Freemasons, the first meeting ever of the Freemasons in New Zealand took place in 1837 in Port Levy, which is in Port Levy down in Marlborough, on a whaling ship. Again, you can't get much more New Zealand than those initial whalers in New Zealand. And the first meeting, formal meeting, took place here in Wellington. Until the Freemasons, of course, were part of, always administered, like so much in New Zealand, administered from the United Kingdom. But we became independent here in 1890 was the first meeting. So those of you who are going to receive this, like so many things, we're part of history. This didn't just arrive. This has arrived, so the awards, this organisation, everything here, we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. So great pleasure to welcome the Freemasons, particularly to the charity, and Paul Chapman, who are the new Grand Master. Paul, I know that you're taking up this role. You're just saying you've left something in your suitcase. Like all these national, international roles, get used to living out of a suitcase, because that's what we all do here. And it's like all these things in life. It's a learned art to make sure we have everything with us. These been some great recipients, those of you who are going to receive these awards today. Again, you're standing on the shoulders of those who came before you. Dame Jacinda Ardern was actually a recipient in 2001 of one of these awards, as have been several of my fellow MPs here. So once again, I return to that whole topic of being part of the fabric of New Zealand. So as you get these awards, it doesn't finish there. I always say it's like being an All Black in New Zealand parlance. No one's good enough to be an All Black. You're good enough to be selected to be an All Black. And then the task in proving yourself starts. So those of you who will go on from here, from receiving these awards, I think I'd like to think back that this will give you, among other things, some of the basis, and who knows how many of you will end up back here, and maybe one of you may be standing here like me, welcoming you here. I think this is the 6th year I've been privileged enough to be part of this ceremony. I had a little brief break last year. I just reminded I was in hospital this time last year, so it's great to be back here. So look, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for me giving the opportunity to host you here. I'm looking forward to sitting here and seeing these recipients come up here. I'll note those names because as I get into my dotage, as I'm sitting in that retirement home, I want to be sitting and saying, I knew that person. I was there when they got their start in life, when they got this award today, and we'll go on. So I'll be sitting there cheering hopefully from my upright chair. So good luck. Nā rewa, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Kia ora, Greg, and thank you. Now it's my pleasure, very much pleasure, to introduce our Grand Master, Paul Chappell, to address us. Grand Master.
Thank you, Kevin. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are gathered to honour a remarkable group of young scholars, leaders in the making, and a reflection on the bright future ahead for New Zealand. It is my distinct honour to welcome you, your family, and your supporters to this special celebration of the Freemasons New Zealand University Scholarships. This marks the 48th anniversary of our scholarship program, first established in 1978. Since then, we have proudly supported more than 1,700 outstanding students, investing over $7 million into New Zealand's future. This isn't just a contribution to individuals. It's a long-term investment into the potential, innovation, and leadership that will shape our nation. Today, we welcome you, the class of 2026, as the latest recipients of a proud tradition. On behalf of all Freemasons across New Zealand, congratulations. You are now part of a legacy rooted in purpose and service. We are also delighted to host you here in the beating heart of our democracy, Parliament buildings. In particular, this room, the Legislative Council chamber, and the adjoining Grand Hall, places rich in history. Until 1951, this chamber housed the upper house. It's where the state opening of Parliament takes place after each election and where the Governor-General delivers the speech from the throne. And in January 1954, during the centennial year of our Parliament, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II opened a special session here in this very room, marking the first time a reigning monarch had done so in New Zealand. But who are we, the Freemasons of New Zealand? Our roots stretch back to the skilled stonemasons of the Middle Ages, builders of Europe's grand cathedrals and castles. These artisans formed lodges to protect their craft, passing on their knowledge to worthy apprentices through symbols, handshakes, and stories, long before the days of diplomas. You may have heard the rumours about secret handshakes and world domination. I hate to disappoint the conspiracy theorists, but ruling the world isn't on our agenda. However, we still use those traditional signs and handshakes, not for secrecy's sake, but to test integrity, to recognise one another and to uphold the values we share. By the 17th century, the age of castle building had waned and Freemasonry evolved, welcoming men of good character and principle, not just craftsmen. Our first Grand Lodge was formed in England in 1717, and by 1842, the oldest lodge in New Zealand was meeting here in Wellington. That's 12 years before New Zealand's first Parliament sat. John F. Kennedy once said, "One person can make a difference, and everyone should try." And that's exactly what we strive to do. To make a difference in our communities. One of Freemasonry's best kept secrets is our philanthropy. Every year, Freemasons in New Zealand quietly contribute between $7 and $10 million to charitable causes. From local kindergartens to disaster relief, from rescue helicopters to supporting clubs attending the Special Olympics, National Summer Games. And our investment in aged care and cutting-edge medical research, our goal is to build stronger, healthier communities. We are one of the largest private charitable providers of aged care in New Zealand. We proudly support research into child health at Otago University, brain research at the University of Auckland, and of course, the groundbreaking CAR T-cell cancer research here in Wellington at the Milligan Institute of Medical Research. Globally, Freemasonry is the world's oldest and largest philanthropic organisation, with over 160 Grand Lodges engaged in similar charitable work throughout the world. But today isn't about honouring tradition. It's about looking forward to you. You are not just scholarship recipients. You are tomorrow's innovators and change makers. You follow in the footsteps of many who once stood where you now stand. Leaders in business, in medicine, in science, and in public service. Look around you. This room holds future doctors, scientists, teachers, and policymakers. More than that, it holds the spirit and potential of New Zealand's future. And if this is what the future looks like, then we're in very good hands. Your families and friends should be immensely proud, not just of your accomplishments to date, but of the promise you carry into the years ahead. Our nation faces complex challenges: climate change, digital transformation, mental well-being, and the call for quality education and healthcare. Meeting these challenges will require fresh thinking, bold leadership, and empathy. That's why our investment in you is more than financial. It is a statement of our belief in your ability to lead with purpose and vision. As you rise in your careers, never underestimate the ripple effects of your actions. Use your success not only to climb, but to lift. Become the mentor, the community leader, the advocate for those without a voice. That is how the value of this scholarship is truly multiplied. The future of New Zealand isn't a distant event waiting to happen. It's yours to define, to lead, and to build. It will rise and fall on the strength of your ideas, your leadership, and your willingness to act. You are not the next generation, you are the now generation. And the responsibility is already in your hands. We understand that your journeys will take you far. You will travel, study, and work abroad, and so you should. But wherever life leads, I ask you to remember one of our Masonic teachings. You should always hold dear to that land of your birth and infant nurture. New Zealand has nurtured your beginnings. When the time is right, find ways to return and give back to the country that gave you your start. And finally, I leave you with the words of Franklin D. Roosevelt, a Freemason, and a man who understood the true value of service. There are many ways of going forward, but only one way of standing still. So go forth, take your knowledge, your creativity, and your compassion, and make a life that contributes. Build something lasting. Leave the world better than you found it. Congratulations once again. You've truly earned this moment.
Grandmaster, thank you. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for this function today, and invite Fran Scholey to come forward to share with us. Thank you, Fran.
Kia ora, everybody. Firstly, I'd just like to acknowledge the Grandmaster on that speech. I think a lot of you may have reflected, this is a quiet achievement. This is something that has given New Zealanders a voice, an opportunity, and I think that's something that you need to think about as you move forward. Exactly what the Grandmaster talked about was how you can take this opportunity and really lean into it. Thank you for welcoming me into this space, and thank you to Freemason New Zealand for this opportunity to stand alongside you all here today. I have been asked to speak on my own learnings and journey, but before I start, to the scholarship recipients in the room, it's not just a celebration of your academic excellence, it's recognition of something deeper. It is the acknowledgement of your curiosity, your courage, and your willingness to serve something larger than yourselves. Scholarship like these are often talked about in terms of financial terms, and make no mistake that matters. It removes pressures, opens doors, and creates choice. But what strikes me most about this opportunity is Freemason provides the value that extends far beyond funding, and that's exactly what the Grandmaster talked about just before. It's an investment in people, in character, in community, and in a belief that the education system is a lever for social good. That belief is something that Special Olympics community knows well, but also something I've learnt on my own journey. For those in the room, and I know we have 2 recipients here today that actually volunteered for Special Olympics, so thank you. Special Olympics is an organisation that provides opportunities for people with an intellectual disability to enjoy sport and opportunity. What's our relationship with Freemasons New Zealand? We have a partnership with Freemasons that started beyond when I was here, and that was 8 years ago. Freemasons are a volunteer partner, that is, they support all of the volunteers at Special Olympics to ensure our community has an opportunity to participate. And they also are our principal partner of our National Summer Games. Held in December, we had over 1,205 athletes descend into Christchurch, and their families stood alongside them proudly, watching them participate, get personal bests, and meet new friends. Our relationship is based on values that the Grandmaster talked about before. It is grounded in dignity, inclusion, service, and belief in human potential. Without advocates like the Freemasons, our athletes aren't as seen, they aren't heard, or realised for the value and the impact that they actually bring us in society as well. Special Olympics exists to say that every person belongs, that ability is broader than performance, and that opportunity should be expanded and not restricted. Those same values are alive in the scholarship program that you all are now part of. I spent a bit of time reading your bios, and I want you to know it was both inspiring and slightly intimidating. What struck me, though, was not what you were studying, and though that is remarkable, and you're exploring mental health, counselling, nutrition, psychology, medicine, community wellbeing, you're tackling climate change, conservation, ecology, planning, engineering, sustainable food systems. You're shaping law, economics, education, finance, architecture, and policy. You're creating through music, media, performance, science, and storytelling. And every single one of those disciplines affects Special Olympics in New Zealand. But what matters more than the disciplines you've chosen is the way you are choosing to move through the world. Many of you are already serving via volunteering, mentoring, leading, advocating and caring. You're already asking questions about fairness, access, sustainability and dignity. You're already contributing. That actually tells me something really important about you all. You understand the value of people. So please remember as you embark on your study to never wait until you feel completely ready. That is, that all the plans are in place, A, B, C, D, E, F. Otherwise, we'll be waiting forever. There is always a time in the world to go with the status quo, to wait for the plane to be fully built, as people say. But what I've learned is change doesn't actually live there. It lives in curiosity, courage, and partnership with others. One thing I was told really early on as a CEO was that it's really lonely at the top. We are never truly alone though. We don't make it here alone. I didn't make it here alone. Everyone in this room didn't make it here alone. We're only alone if we choose to. So the change you can all make in this world won't happen in isolation. It happens in community, in partnership, in shared efforts, sometimes over years, sometimes quietly like the Freemasons are achieving, and often without applause because people don't know about it. Leadership, and I mean true leadership, starts with curiosity, asking better questions, wondering who isn't being heard, wondering if there's a different way, but wondering about the person, the people and the communities that you will impact. I want to encourage you, regardless of whether you're entering a hospital, laboratory, a courtroom, classroom, community organisation or a boardroom, to remain curious. Stay unsettled, challenge the assumptions, including your own, but remain connected to the people that you're serving. We don't need more people who simply follow the existing systems. We can see that the systems are broken. We need you, people who care enough to question, care enough to try, be brave, and people who understand that knowledge carries responsibility. Humanity is more important than ever. We need your critical thinking, your empathy and understanding of human behaviour. These are skills that no data point or algorithm can ever replace. Remember, you don't need that perfection to make change. Impact is not created in isolation. Freemasons understands this. Special Olympics understands this. You will learn again and again that the most meaningful work happens in partnerships, when we listen deeply, when we walk alongside others, and when we value contribution over recognition. Steve Jobs built his influence in the tech world based on humanity's foundations, providing the best technology comes from people who actually understand people first, their challenges and what needed to be solved. We will not have all the answers, he didn't. He needed a team to be able to do that. But you need purpose, people, and the courage to begin. You guys can make that change. Through the patients you will futurely sit with, through the environments you will protect, through the policies you will influence, through stories you will tell, through the communities you'll help strengthen. Today, Freemasons hasn't just supported your studies, they've placed trust in you. They believe in who you are becoming, not just what you're going to achieve. Carry that with you, especially on the days when things feel hard, slow or unseen. To the family and friends here in person, online, and those that are no longer with us, thank you for your contribution in helping to shape the amazing people that we have before us. To the Freemasons community, thank you for standing on the values that matter, for recognising the investment in people creates ripple effects far beyond this room here. And to the recipients, the future is waiting for you. It's not waiting for you, it's waiting on you. So carry that weight as a privilege though, not a burden. For you will make change and inspire the future generations that we may never meet. Be strong, be brave, be steadfast. Congratulations and thank you for the contributions and challenges and changes you're already making. Thank you.
Fran, thank you so much for a wonderful address. We deeply appreciate that. Well, now comes that very special time for why we're gathering here today, to the recipients of these scholarships. What will happen is that as I call the name of the recipient, I'll be asking them to stand and make their way forward to the podium here, and in a moment I'll ask the Grand Master to step forward to greet them. At that time, I'll read a bio of their achievements as they approach the lectern here or the podium, and they'll join with the Grand Master. At that time, there'll be time for the photograph individually. After that photograph, I'd ask you, and I'll take you to the lead here actually, as it happens, Sandra. So after that time, step down onto the side, and I think the photographer, you will want them on the far side there. Take the group right here, exactly. So follow the lead of Sandra, you'll take the lead, and from there, one by one, we'll go through that process. It's a wonderful thing to be listening to, I might add. So the first recipient from the Auckland University of Technology, Sandra Soto Pereira. Sandra is completing a postgraduate diploma in counselling psychology and is undertaking her full-time clinical internship in 2026. She holds a PhD in health psychology from Victoria University of Wellington alongside postgraduate and undergraduate qualifications from Teesside University in the United Kingdom. Sandra's academic and professional journey spans Brazil, the UK and Aotearoa, New Zealand, and is underpinned by a strong commitment to community well-being. Her experience includes volunteering with victim support, providing psychological first aid following traumatic events, and supporting individuals with complex needs through placements in residential care and custodial settings. Sandra is particularly passionate about improving mental health outcomes for older adults and has developed the Living Room Project, an innovative model of psychological support designed for residential care environments. And through her studies and future practice, she aims to strengthen community connection, dignity and well-being across Aotearoa, New Zealand. Ladies and gentlemen, Sandra Soto Pereira. And now Zoe Thomas. Zoe is completing the final year of her Bachelor of Arts, majoring in psychology with a minor in criminology and criminal justice. A high-achieving student, Zoe has maintained a strong academic record and is committed to pursuing honours and postgraduate study in clinical psychology with a focus on child and adolescent mental health. Zoe demonstrates outstanding leadership and community service, having earned the Queen's Guide Award, the highest honour in girl guiding, following a 5-year commitment to service and advocacy. She has mentored younger students through Girl Guides, coached and umpired netball at school and community levels, and volunteered extensively with organisations including the SPCA. Zoe is also whakapapa Māori and is passionate about improving culturally responsive mental health support for Māori women and rangatahi. Through her service and beyond study, Zoe is committed to helping us shape a safer, stronger future for youth across Aotearoa, New Zealand. Ladies and gentlemen, Zoe Thomas. Now, Xavier Walsh. Xavier is a PhD candidate in Māori studies with a passion for activism and academia. His PhD research explores how tikanga Māori might be woven into workplace personal grievance processes with the aim of supporting mana enhancing and utility-led approaches to resolving employment disputes in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Building on his first-class honours degree in Māori studies, Xavier's work bridges academic research with lived experience informed by extensive involvement in the trade union and community organising sectors. Alongside his studies, Xavier serves as National President of Co-President of Unite Union, Co-Chair of Te Ohu Whakawhanga Tamaki Makaurau, and Co-Convener of Stand Up, the Council of Trade Unions Under 35 Network. Deeply committed to social justice, Xavier's research and leadership are defined by a strong focus on workers' rights, social equality, and community well-being. Kia ora, Xavier Walsh. Kiuhei Chloe Yip. Kiuhei Chloe is completing the final year of a conjoint Bachelor of Science and Bachelor of Laws with honours degree, major in Geography and Geographic Information Science. Her studies bring together environmental analysis and legal frameworks, including research on urban heat and climate impacts that can inform planning and policy decisions. Alongside her academic work, Orakei has a proven passion for service in the youth voice sector. She has been involved with Auckland Youth Voice for over 5 years, serving in roles including Youth Engagement Advisor, General Manager, and currently Board Chair, supporting rangatahi participation in civic decision-making across Tāmaki Makaurau in Auckland. She is also a co-director of the Equal Justice Project, a student-led pro bono organisation at Auckland Law School, focused on enhancing access to justice for all communities. Whether she becomes a lawyer or policy professional, Orakei is committed to advancing equity, environmental sustainability, and inclusive decision-making in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Orakei, yep. Wilko Ing. Wilko is completing a Bachelor of Advanced Science with honours in Applied Physics, specialising in quantum physics, with a focus on experimental quantum optics. Entering his honours years in 2026, he has gained hands-on experience as a research assistant in the university's quantum information laboratories, building on work undertaken through a summer research scholarship. Beyond academic studies, Wilko has made a significant contribution to youth development through sport and science education. He is the founder and head coach of the Botany Downs Secondary School Ultimate Frisbee program, which has grown into one of the largest secondary school programs in the Auckland region. He has also contributed to public engagement with science through roles at Stardome Observatory and with the New Zealand Physics and Mathematics competitions, combining technical expertise with education and mentorship. Ultimately, Wilko is determined to use his passion for science, sport and education to build inclusive, connected communities. Ladies and gentlemen, Wilko Ing. And Emily Watts. Emily is completing a conjoint Bachelor of Laws with honours and a Bachelor of Global Studies degree, majoring in global politics, human rights and Spanish. Her academic interests sit at the intersection of environmental law, climate change and human rights, with a particular focus on the impact of climate change on vulnerable communities in the Pacific region. She has undertaken advanced legal research in this area, including a substantial research essay on climate migration in the Solomon Islands. Emily volunteers weekly with Citizens Advice Bureau, assisting clients with housing, migration and refugee-related issues, and has been involved for nearly 2 years. She's also active with the University Environmental Law Students Association and is the volunteering executive member in 2026. Emily intends to pursue a career in environmental and climate change law, advocating for fair, inclusive and sustainable legal frameworks in Aotearoa, New Zealand and the wider Pacific. Ladies and gentlemen, Emily Watts. Now, Grand Master, there will be a group photograph of the Auckland AUT and Auckland Universities collectively at this time. If you just proceed down there, thank you, that would be great. Thank you all, just back to the seats. And so we move to the University of Waikato, and I'll first invite Jolene Jones to come forward. Jolene is a PhD candidate in nursing, whose doctoral research examines post-operative care delivery and the evaluation of new models of care. As a registered nurse, Jolene combines clinical practice with teaching and research, working in the post-anaesthetic care unit while also teaching undergraduate nursing students. She holds a Bachelor of Nursing and completed first-class honours with research that has already informed clinical practice and has been published in the Australian Journal of Advanced Nursing. Alongside her academic and professional work, Jolene is active in her local community through church-based service, pastoral support and practical initiatives such as coordinating community events and assisting elderly members. Through her work across research, education and clinical practice and voluntary service, Jolene is dedicated to strengthening healthcare delivery and supporting her community with meaningful change. Ladies and gentlemen, Jolene Jones. Now to Daniel Bacon. Daniel is completing the final year of a Bachelor of Management Studies with honours, majoring in economics and finance. His studies combine technical capability with a focus on leadership, communication and business ethics, preparing him to make informed and responsible decisions in the finance sector. Daniel has demonstrated outstanding academic achievement, receiving the Te Paiwai o Te Rangi Scholarship for Exceptional Academic Achievement and the Foundation Precious Prize in Economics. He is actively involved in tutoring first-year economics students and intends to continue this role after completing the Chartered Financial Analyst program. Daniel aspires to build a career through corporate finance and advisory work, helping businesses to make sound, well-informed decisions while continuing to give back through mentoring and education within his community. Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Bacon. And now Naima Manoa. Naima is completing a Bachelor of Environmental Planning, specialising in society and the environment. Her studies focus on sustainable development, land use planning, and community-centred policy making, with an emphasis on equity and inclusion. Naima is particularly interested in ensuring underrepresented voices and marginalised communities are meaningfully included in planning processes, informed and motivated by her own experiences growing up. Alongside her academic studies, Naima is actively involved on campus as a New Zealand Planning Institute student representative, where she connects students with planning professionals through network and development events. She also volunteers extensively with organisations supporting migrants and refugees in the Waikato, assisting with settlement, access to services and language support. Naima aspires to work as an environmental planner, contributing to fairer, more inclusive and sustainable communities. Ladies and gentlemen, Naima Manoa. Elizabeth Ellison is not here, that's right. So we're going to just do her bio. It's important, I think, to share these on this occasion because although unable to be here today, Elizabeth is deserving, certainly, of the acknowledgement, as are others who unfortunately can't be here. So Grandmaster will bear with me. Elizabeth is completing a Bachelor of Music with honours, majoring in performance voice, with a minor in theatre studies. During her honours year, Elizabeth is further developing her vocal technique, performance skills and professional practice in preparation for a career spanning performance, teaching and musical direction. She has contributed extensively to the cultural life of both the university and wider community through opera, musical theatre and concert performance. Elizabeth has performed with organisations including New Zealand Opera and Toitei Opera, appearing in productions that prioritise accessibility to the arts through free community-focused performances. She's an active leader within the University Music Program, supporting younger students through rehearsals and ensemble work, and is regularly performing in community and retirement village concerts across Waikato and Canterbury. Through performance, education and outreach, Elizabeth hopes to continue sharing her expertise and enthusiasm for music with a wide range of audiences. So acknowledging, I think, today, Elizabeth Ellison. And now a Grandmaster with the University of Waikato group photograph, that would be appreciated. And we move now to the Massey University. Sophia Salim. Sophia is undertaking a Master of Science in Conservation Biology, having completed a Bachelor of Science in Zoology in 2025. Her academic interests focus on wildlife conservation and population translocations, habitat restoration, and the integration of Mātauranga Māori into conservation practices. Sophia is an active community volunteer and conservation leader. She serves as volunteer coordinator for the Massey Wildlife and Conservation Club, organised hands-on projects including predator control in the Ruahine Ranges, native tree planting and bird rehabilitation at Taranaki and Whanganui Bird Rescue. Sophia has a passion for field research and community-engaged conservation. She plans to work in endangered species conservation, collaborating with DOC, iwi partners and NGOs to protect Aotearoa New Zealand's unique wildlife and ecosystems. Ladies and gentlemen, Sophia Salim. And India Moorpike. India is completing the final year of a Bachelor of Science, double majoring in human nutrition and psychology. Her academic studies sit at the intersection of nutrition and mental health, with a focus on eating disorder prevention and recovery. India is passionate about community-based, compassionate approaches to well-being and is working towards postgraduate studies in dietetics, with the goal of becoming a registered community dietitian. India is actively involved in community food initiatives and volunteers with Good Food South Kaipara, where she supports community gardening and food education programs aimed at improving food security and well-being. Through this work, India has seen firsthand how growing, preparing and sharing food can strengthen well-being, confidence and connection. Through her studies and future career, India aims to deliver holistic nutrition support that integrates psychological care, food education and community connection, particularly for people with limited access to traditional health services. Ladies and gentlemen, India Moorpike. Emily Rhodes. Emily is in the final year of a Bachelor of Arts and plans to progress to a master's degree in clinical psychology with a focus on working with neurodivergent children. Emily's academic focus is informed by her proposed postgraduate research into the therapeutic benefits of equine-assisted therapy, particularly in supporting emotional regulation and social skill development in autistic children. Emily is a dedicated volunteer with the North Shore branch of New Zealand Riding for the Disabled, where she works directly with riders and supports the delivery of therapeutic programs. Fundraising for RDA by the age of 8. Her long-standing involvement reflects both her passion for equine therapy and her commitment to inclusive, practical mental health support. Through her future career as a clinical psychologist, Emily aims to address gaps in mental health services and contribute meaningful, evidence-based support to children, families and volunteer-led organisations across Aotearoa, New Zealand. Ladies and gentlemen, Emily Rhodes. And now Alexander Murray. Alexander is completing a Bachelor of Business, majoring in economics with a minor in politics and international relations. His studies focus on the application of economic principles to real-world challenges, including inequality, climate resilience, and evidence-based public policy. Alexander is a committed community leader and advocate for youth well-being. He's the chair of the Palmerston North Youth Council, where he has played a leading role in youth well-being initiatives, policy submissions, and strengthening youth participation in local decision-making. He also serves in a range of governance and representative roles, including Youthline, the Palmerston North City Council Creative Communities Scheme, and student advisory groups at Massey University. Alexander's future career plan is not defined by personal ambition, but by service. He is driven by the desire to give back and aspires to contribute to equitable, inclusive policy making and long-term public service, with the goal of representing and amplifying community voices at a national level. Ladies and gentlemen, Alexander Murray. Our Grandmaster, there's a group photograph now with the Massey University. And we move to the Victoria University of Wellington, and I invite Kathy Breed to come forward. Kathy is a PhD candidate in environmental studies, researching Kiwi translocation in Wellington City, investigating how conservation initiatives reshape relationships between people, cities, and taonga species in an era of climate change. She holds a Master of Environmental Studies with distinction from Victoria University of Wellington and a Bachelor of Arts with honours in History from the University of Cambridge. Alongside her academic work, Kathy is engaged in conservation and climate-focused communities. She is a long-standing volunteer with Climate Club Aotearoa, where she leads the organisation's weekly newsletter and is actively involved with Zealandia, volunteering first as a ranger's assistant and later as a kakawhira. Is that good? I bet it is. Kathy is also an active member of her academic department, supporting collegial initiatives that foster connection and scholarly exchange. Through her research, teaching and community engagement, Kathy aims to contribute meaningful social science insights to conservation practice and environmental policy in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Ladies and gentlemen, Kathy Breed. And now Rachel Mart. Rachel is completing a conjoint Bachelor of Communications and Marketing and Bachelor of Psychological Science. Her academic focus brings together psychological research and strategic communication, with a particular interest in reducing stigma around mental health through evidence-based public messaging. Rachel has applied her studies to research exploring trauma, emotional processing, and memory, translating academic insight into practical communication campaigns. Alongside her studies, Rachel undertakes volunteer work with Trauma Recovery Aotearoa, where she supports organisational rebranding, trauma-informed communications and client engagement. She also assists with reception services and is completing peer support training to strengthen her ability to work directly with individuals seeking support. Through her future career, Rachel intends to specialise in mental health communications, helping organisations design compassionate, research-led campaigns that improve access to support and strengthen community well-being. Ladies and gentlemen, Rachel Mart. Now we move to Achim Hahn. Achim is completing the final year of Bachelor of Arts, majoring in Anthropology, International Relations and Religious Studies. His studies focus on understanding global issues through cultural, political and ethical perspectives and responding with real-life solutions that can be implemented into daily life across a diverse range of communities. He intends to continue his studies with honours in international relations, followed by a Master's in Security Studies, with a long-term focus on humanitarian and emergency response work. Achim has an extensive record of community leadership and service. He has spent over 6 years with the New Zealand Cadet Forces and is currently a commissioned Air Force Cadet Officer and Training Officer, responsible for delivering leadership and development programs to young cadets. He has also held senior roles on the Stratford District Youth Council and continues to volunteer in cultural, civic and emergency-focused organisations. After university, Achim aims to apply his academic training and leadership experience to humanitarian, disaster response and community resilience work in Aotearoa, New Zealand and internationally. Ladies and gentlemen, Achim Hahn. And another of the recipients who was unable to be here today, but I will share that tribute with him, is Ben Bridle. Ben is currently completing a Bachelor of Architectural Studies with plans to continue into a Master of Architecture Professional. His academic interests centre around people-focused design, community well-being, and the role architecture plays in shaping inclusive public spaces. Ben has chosen to specialise in Maori design studio track, where he has developed a strong appreciation for community-centred and culturally responsive design approaches. Ben has a record of sustained community involvement and youth leadership. He volunteered for several years with the St Vincent de Paul Society, supporting local social services and community fundraising, and has held leadership roles with Tennis New Zealand's Youth Advisory Group, Wellington City Youth Council and local sports organisations. Through his future career as an architect, Ben aims to contribute to inclusive, culturally informed architecture that enhances belonging, equity and collective well-being in communities across Aotearoa, New Zealand. And that is the bio of Ben Bridle. Thank you. And now be a group photograph with those of Victoria University. Oh, fine, thanks. Thank you. Thank you, Dwayne, that's very kind. Thank you. And to Lincoln University, Ella Parr Gommans. Ella is currently completing a Master of Management in Agribusiness after gaining a Bachelor of Agribusiness and Food Marketing in 2025. Her studies are focused on innovative food product development, sustainable agribusiness practices, and global food systems. Ella is particularly motivated by the role that innovation and research can play in strengthening New Zealand's agribusiness sector while protecting environmental and community well-being. As part of her postgraduate studies, she hopes to undertake an international exchange to further broaden her global experience and perspective. Ella demonstrates proven leadership and community commitment alongside her studies. She's president of the Lincoln University Water Polo Club and has been actively involved in surf lifesaving New Zealand since she was 7 years old, eventually serving as a volunteer lifeguard, patrol captain, instructor, and search and rescue operational member. Through her future career, Ella aims to contribute to a more resilient, innovative, and sustainable agri-food industry while continuing her long-standing service to community safety and leadership development. Ladies and gentlemen, Ella Parr-Gommans. And Jack Green. Jack is completing a Bachelor of Agricultural Science with honours, having recently returned from a semester abroad at Cornell University in the United States, where he gained an international perspective on agricultural research, including advanced livestock, dairy, and hydroponic systems. His honours research examines the evolution of New Zealand dairy farms into increasingly complex, technologically driven systems, exploring the challenges this creates and how innovation can be made more practical and effective for farmers. Alongside his academic work, Jack is actively involved in leadership and service at Lincoln University. He is an active member of the Lincoln University Future Leaders Program, co-organiser of the Lincoln University Blood Drive, and founding executive member of the Lincoln University Investment Society, which promotes financial literacy among students. Jack plans to gain a master's degree overseas, ultimately returning to New Zealand as an agri-tech consultant to support New Zealand farmers in adopting technology that improves productivity, sustainability, and resilience across rural communities. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Green. That's actually a little small group photograph of my master. And so we move to the University of Canterbury, and I first invite Jack Buckingham to come forward. I'm sorry, Jack, to share with us. Jack is completing a Master of Applied Finance and Economics in 2026. His academic interests span applied finance, valuation, macroeconomics, and the intersection of economic theory and real-world policy. Jack has achieved an exceptional academic record, earning multiple first-in-class awards, business school scholarships for excellence, and major prizes in economics across all 3 years of his undergraduate study. Alongside his studies, Jack has demonstrated leadership and service through tutoring and the UC Investment Society, where he has progressed from academic associate to chief financial officer and is currently serving as chief executive officer. Through his role, Jack has led initiatives to improve financial literacy, deliver career-focused events, and connect students with industry leaders. With entrepreneurial ambition, Jack aims to contribute to the growth of New Zealand's private markets while continuing his commitment to improving financial literacy and opportunity across our communities. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Buckingham. And Lily Lang. Lily is currently pursuing a Bachelor of Science, double majoring in biology and psychology. She has previously completed an internship at an Auckland Cancer Research Laboratory, which has strengthened her interest in applied scientific research with real-world impact. Driven by her passion for academia, she intends to continue on to postgraduate study in either neuropsychology or biochemical and immunological research. She has been actively involved in Girl Guiding Aotearoa since childhood and currently serves as a Girl Guide leader, mentoring the young girls of Fenton Brownies and working towards her next leadership qualification. Lily is also an executive member of the University of Canterbury Girls Outdoors Club, which encourages women to participate in outdoor recreation and conservation initiatives. Whichever path she likes, Lily wants to love the work she does and is dedicated to making a difference in the community through science-based research and clinical practice. Ladies and gentlemen, Lily Lang. And Ella Sage Stewart. Ella is in the final year of a Bachelor of Arts, double majoring in Media and Communications and English. Fostering a creative approach to academia, she has developed skills in storytelling, journalism, editorial practice, strategic communication, and creative non-fiction, positioning her well for a future career in the creative industries. Ella has an extensive record of leadership and community engagement in youth-led media and advocacy spaces. She holds a senior role with Cantor, the University of Canterbury student magazine, and has volunteered for several years with Create Happy Media and ZZOZ, Aotearoa, mentoring rangatahi writers and supporting youth storytelling initiatives nationwide. Ella's leadership was nationally recognised in 2024 as the recipient of the Girl Boss Canterbury Innovation Award. Through her future career, Ella aims to support the communities that have supported her by amplifying diverse voices, supporting emerging writers, and ultimately contributing to a more creative, connected, and compassionate Aotearoa New Zealand. Ladies and gentlemen, Ella Sage Stewart. We move to Maz Cameron. Maz is undertaking a conjoint Bachelor of Engineering and Bachelor of Science, majoring in mechatronics and mathematics. His academic focus combines engineering, artificial intelligence, and advanced mathematics, with the intention to apply these principles to address New Zealand's energy and infrastructure challenges. Maz serves as a mentor in multiple University of Canterbury leadership programs, supporting first-year engineering and science students, and is actively involved in the Student Volunteer Army, coordinating large-scale environmental and community initiatives. He also founded New Zealand Tutors, creating accessible online mathematics and science resources, such used by hundreds of secondary students nationwide. Raised in rural Alexandra, Maz saw firsthand how calls for environmental action can be perceived as a threat to a way of life. He is now motivated to bridge this gap by developing innovative energy solutions that empower rather than alienate our communities. Ladies and gentlemen, Maz Cameron. And we move to the University of Otago and Kirsten Rutten. Kirsten, if I could invite you forward. Kirsten is undertaking doctoral study in anatomy, specialising in biological anthropology. Her research aims to contribute to the growing movement in bioarchaeology that seeks to dehumanise the past by focusing on individual life stories and histories. Specifically, Kirsten is testing the effectiveness of osteobiographies, life stories created from skeletal remains, in fostering connections between people of the present and those of the past. Central to her work is ethical engagement and collaboration with descendant and stakeholder communities, and this includes comparative research in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and in Ireland. Alongside her academic work, Kirsten is deeply involved with Heart Kids New Zealand, supporting families affected by congenital heart conditions through fundraising, outreach, and advocacy. Drawing on her lived experience, she is passionate about making complex anatomical knowledge accessible and meaningful beyond academia. Through a future career, combining teaching, research, and public engagement, Kirsten aims to inspire students and is committed to making science accessible, human-centered, and socially meaningful. Ladies and gentlemen, Kirsten Rutten. And Zoe Jackson. Zoe is completing the final year of a Bachelor of Commerce, majoring in politics, philosophy, and economics. Her interdisciplinary studies focus on ethical decision-making, environmental economics, and the intersection of public policy and social justice, equipping her with analytical and creative critical thinking skills to address complex global challenges. Alongside her studies, she volunteers as a karate instructor, careful Grandmaster, karate instructor, supporting children, including those with additional learning needs, and has co-founded a social enterprise, the Young Enterprise Scheme that supports victims of domestic violence. Zoe has also been actively involved in environmental leadership initiatives, such as the Sir Peter Blank Inspire program. She has a clear commitment to applying theory to real-world issues, particularly in the areas of sustainability, social justice, and governance. Through her future career, Zoe aims to contribute to ethical governance, environmental protection, and inclusive decision-making in Aotearoa, New Zealand and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, Zoe Jackson. And to Jake Corney. Jake is completing the final year of a Bachelor of Surveying, aiming to specialise in hydrographic surveying. He is motivated by a desire to work outdoors while contributing to projects that responsibly shape the built and natural environment. Through his studies, Jake is building strong technical and practical skills that support land development, planning, and environmental stewardship. Originally from Tauranga, Jake combines his academic studies with a firm commitment to community service and leadership. In 2023, he co-founded Fortress 40, a men's mental health charity that has grown from a school-based initiative into an international platform promoting open conversation, fundraising and community connection. Jake is also a long-standing volunteer with Surf Life Saving New Zealand, a member of the New Zealand Army Reserves, and an executive member of the Otago University Tramping Club. A high-performance athlete, he captained the New Zealand Under-19 underwater hockey team to a gold medal at the 2024 World Championships. Well done. Through his future career, Jake looks to balance his professional practice with lifelong service, leadership and advocacy that strengthens community well-being. Ladies and gentlemen, Jake Corney. And to Tate Agnew. Tate is undertaking a Bachelor of Science, majoring in ecology with minors in zoology and history. This year, she is completing 2 research projects in ecological study examining the role of lichen and fungi symbiosis in nitrogen fixation, which can be used to mitigate climate change, and the other researching Māori environmental folklore and how this can be used to increase Indigenous engagement in the sciences. Tate's studies combine ecological research with cultural and historical perspectives, reflecting her passion for meaningful climate action, conservation, and the integration of Indigenous knowledge with scientific research. Alongside her studies, she holds executive roles in multiple environmental and academic societies, works as a zoology laboratory demonstrator, and has volunteered with research teams, museums, and environmental organisations. Tate also contributes to science communication as a scientific journalist and visual artist, using creative practice to make science accessible to wider audiences. Through research, creativity, and service, Tate is committed to making science inclusive, impactful, and community-centred. Ladies and gentlemen, Tate Agnew. Another group photograph for the University of Otago. And as that photograph is being taken, the next 2 recipients will be for the Orakei Scholarship 2026. Now, this was set up by Lodge Orakei number 270, and the Trust makes an annual grant for a postgraduate scholarship at the University of Auckland. Now, the objective of the Orakei Scholarship is to support excellence in education and encourage scholars to use their skills and abilities within New Zealand. And for that, I'm going to invite from the University of Auckland, Lola Elvey. Lola is undertaking a Master of Music, specialising in creative practice at composition. Her postgraduate research explores the intersection of music, environmental science and climate communication, with a particular focus on bioacoustics and the use of sound to deepen public understanding of ecological change. She is currently broadening her research, which began in 2025, investigating the sounds emitted by plants when under stress, as well as the occurrence of blue whale sightings versus strandings in South Taranaki over the past 100 years. Now, Lola's work draws on both scientific research and creative practice, and her compositions have been recognised and presented by academic, orchestral and community organisations. Growing up abroad on a sailboat, she has witnessed firsthand the effects of climate change and has been motivated by her experience to become an educator and mentor in alternative education spaces. Lola believes that education should instill not only knowledge, but wisdom, curiosity, and compassion for the world and those around us. Through her postgraduate study and future career, Lola aims to use creative practice as a tool for education, climate advocacy, and community connection. Ladies and gentlemen, Lola Elvey. And shortly joining Lola will be the Lawson-Smith Education Trust Scholarship recipients. The Lawson-Smith Freemasons Education Trust provides scholarships to students in their fourth or final year of a Bachelor of Veterinary Science degree. Students must have consistently high grades and actively volunteer and support their community. And to that end, I'm going to invite Tasman O'Sullivan to come forward. Tasman is graduating this year with a Bachelor of Veterinary Science and aspires to work with a mixed animal veterinarian. Growing up in Christchurch, Tasman's passion for animal welfare was influenced by her grandparents, who founded Dogwatch Sanctuary Trust, where she volunteered for over 7 years, supporting the rehoming of abandoned and lost dogs. Tasman is also committed to community service through sport and volunteering, including rowing, netball, and has refereed at Special Olympics football tournaments. Tasman has volunteered with Riding for the Disabled, supported environmental initiatives through the Veterinary Students Association, and coached rowing at both school and community levels. Through dedication, resilience, and service, Tasman demonstrates a strong commitment to animal welfare, rural communities, and inclusive community engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, Tasman O'Sullivan. And now to Grace Fleming. Grace is a fourth-year Bachelor of Veterinary Science student, motivated by a lifelong compassion for animal health and welfare. And Grace aspires to work in a mixed veterinary practice where she can continue learning from experienced practitioners and farmers alike. Raised in a lifestyle block in Taranaki, Grace has intentionally completed many of her practical placements close to home, allowing her to support local farmers and give back to the community that shaped her. She has gained valuable hands-on experience through farm and clinical placements, often volunteering additional time during busy periods such as calving and holiday programs to provide extra support. Alongside her studies, she is a community volunteer, regularly supporting the Breast Cancer Foundation's annual fundraising appeal, a cause of deep personal significance. Through her compassion, reliability, and strong work ethic, Grace demonstrates a clear commitment to animal welfare, community service, and the importance of valuing rural knowledge and resource in New Zealand. Ladies and gentlemen, Grace Fleming. And now to Charlotte Cotton. Charlotte is a fourth-year Bachelor of Veterinary Science student, recognised for her academic achievement alongside a proven commitment to service and student support. She is engaged and collaborative member of her cohort, known for her willingness to support peers and contribute positively to the veterinary school community. Charlotte serves on fundraising and events committees through her year group and volunteers as a gear hire officer for the Massey University Alpine Club, where she also contributes to hut maintenance and club events. She has volunteered for the Cats Protection League and currently for the Massey Canine Unit and the Massey SPCA De-Sexing Clinic, supporting animal welfare initiatives within the wider community. Beyond veterinary studies, Charlotte is an accomplished violinist and teacher, performing in the Manawatu Sinfonia and mentoring young musicians. And through her future career as a veterinarian, she aims to combine clinical excellence with empathy and ongoing community engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, Charlotte Cotton. And now Elite Tang. Elite is currently completing a Bachelor of Veterinary Science at Massey University. Raised in Palmerston North, she values the opportunity to study close to home, allowing her to immerse herself in both her studies and community involvement. Alongside her studies, Elite demonstrates sustained leadership and service. She is actively involved in fundraising and cohort committees, volunteers with the Massey SPCA De-Sexing Clinic and the Whanganui Bird Rescue, and supports animal welfare through equine care at Spectrum Equestrian. Elite is a keen member of campus life as a member of Massey Student Wildlife and Conservation Club, Massey Dance Club, and Massey Badminton Club. While Elite maintains an open interest across veterinary disciplines, she is particularly drawn to wildlife, companion animal and equine practice, and is keen to explore where her training will lead. Through leadership, service and hands-on experience, Elite is dedicated to animal welfare, community engagement and professional growth within veterinary science. Ladies and gentlemen, Elite Tang. The Heartland Bank Freemason scholarships are provided annually by Heartland Bank under the auspices of Freemasons New Zealand, and they're administered by the Freemasons charity. These scholarships assist family members of Freemasons who are currently Year 13 students and are active in their communities. These 3 scholarships are awarded, one per division of Freemasons, which New Zealand, we have 3, the Northern, Central and Southern. And to assist in presenting these today, I'm going to invite from Heartland Bank Andrew Wilson to come forward to share this time with us, with the Grand Master. And to share that first, I'm going to invite Isabel Denton to come forward. Now, Isabel is the first year of a Bachelor of Biomedical Science with the goal of pursuing a future career in medicine. A graduate of St Cuthbert's College, Isabel completed NCEA levels 1 to 3 with excellence and demonstrated outstanding academic achievement across science, mathematics and humanities subjects. Isabel is motivated by a genuine interest in human biology, problem solving and patient-centred healthcare, and plans to apply for entry into the program following her undergraduate studies. Alongside her studies, she has a proven commitment to service and leadership. Isabel completed the Duke of Edinburgh Bronze, Silver and Gold Awards, contributing to over 200 hours of community service, including volunteer with Dove Hospice, SPCA and Special Olympics Linfield. Through her future medical career, Isabel aims to improve access to compassionate healthcare and contribute meaningfully to community well-being in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Ladies and gentlemen, Isabel Denton. And the recipient from Victoria University of Wellington is Elka Bartlett. Elka is currently completing a compensing study at Victoria University of Wellington this year, undertaking a Bachelor of Science, majoring in physics with minors in philosophy and Chinese. Having graduated directly from Year 12 into university, Elka has demonstrated exceptional academic ability, intellectual curiosity, and independence in her learning. Her academic interests span science, languages, and the humanities, and she's particularly drawn to theoretical physics and interdisciplinary thinking. Elka is actively engaged with her church community, contributing creatively through artwork, youth activities, fundraising initiatives, and script writing for the annual Nativity play. She has also supported community events through theatre, design, and creative projects, and has a keen interest in mentoring and collaborative learning. Known for analytical thinking, creativity, and communication skills, Elka is motivated by a love of learning and meaningful discussion. And through her future studies and career, she aims to pursue intellectually engaged work that allows her to have interesting discussions with interesting people. Ladies and gentlemen, Elka Bartlett. The remaining recipient is unfortunately not able to be here today, but from the University of Otago is Rebecca Allen, and I'll share that with you. Rebecca is in her first year of study at the University of Otago, working towards a conjoint Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of Commerce, majoring in politics, philosophy and economics. Another graduate of St Cuthbert's College, Rebecca achieved excellent endorsements in NCEA levels 1, 2 and 3 and received multiple academic honours, reflecting consistent high achievement and strong work ethic. Alongside her academic success, Rebecca has demonstrated outstanding leadership and service. She served as a Melrose House Prefect, Head Peer Support Leader and Student Volunteer Army Ambassador, and led the school's Tibetan Cultural Group, earning cultural honours. Her community involvement includes over 350 hours of service, encompassing international service work in Fiji, academic tutoring and mentoring, lifeguarding, netball coaching, and long-term volunteering with Red Cross. She is particularly interested in the intersection of law, politics, and global affairs, and aspires to pursue a future career in international law or diplomacy. And through her future studies and career, Rebecca is committed to combining academic excellence with meaningful service and leadership. And we should join perhaps in congratulating Rebecca Allen. And now, Grandmaster, I invite you for the final of the group photographs. And please put up your hand if I've missed you. Anyone? But I think we have. We're fine. Now it's my pleasure, Grandmaster, thank you so much for the time that you've given to each of those recipients, and you may comfortably take a seat for a moment. I'll call you back. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Jack Buckingham again, but this time to address on behalf of the recipients. Hi, Jack.
Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, katoa. Good afternoon, Freemasons, distinguished guests, sponsors, friends, family, and fellow recipients. It is an absolute privilege to speak on behalf of my fellow award winners today, and an absolute honour to do so in this building. Greg O'Connor, MP, thank you for hosting us here today. It is not lost on any of us that we're being recognised in a place where so many decisions about New Zealand's future have been made. But before I go any further, there are a few people I want to acknowledge on behalf of all of us. Fran Scholey, thank you for sharing your time and your inspiring words today. Andrew Wilson and Heartland Bank, thank you for the scholarships you offer and the ongoing commitment you have behind them. Backing students in a tangible way year after year makes a real difference to those who receive them. And Paul Chappell, as Grand Master, thank you for the leadership and the example you set. And to Freemasons more broadly, thank you for the standard you hold around service, community, and personal development. It's a standard worth aspiring to. I've been thinking a lot recently about what the future of New Zealand actually looks like. As a finance and economics student, I'm trained to look at the numbers. They tell part of the story, but they often miss the most important part, which is the people behind them. I had the chance to meet a few of the other recipients before the ceremony, and what stood out to me was the range. Different disciplines, different parts of the country and different backgrounds, but a shared intent. Everyone in this room is working on something bigger than themselves, and that's not something a statistic will ever capture. And it's exactly the kind of thing I think it's worth stopping to recognise, which is why moments like this matter. We're usually so focused on what is still ahead, we forget to mark what has already been built. So, to the university selection committees, thank you for the time you took to listen to our stories, to listen to what we are working towards, and to reflect on what we have already done. And to the Freemasons charity, thank you for backing that work year after year. Because these scholarships are so much more than just financial support. In the short term, they give us the freedom to focus on our studies as well as keep contributing to our communities without having to choose between the two. But more than that, they're an investment in us and through us in the future of New Zealand. It will show up in the work we go on to do, in the communities we stay connected to, and in the opportunities we help create for those who come after us. And for that, and for everything it makes possible, thank you. But none of us got here alone. Our families, our friends, our teachers, and our mentors. We know what you have given in encouragement and support and in sacrifice so that we can be standing here today. And we are incredibly grateful for it. So once again, on behalf of every recipient in this room, thank you to the Freemasons New Zealand and the Freemasons charity. We do not take lightly the confidence you've placed in us and will ensure to make it count. Thank you.
Jack, thank you. I'm going to ask all of the recipients if you would please all stand for a moment. Just the recipients, if you will, thanks. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you're here as guests, perhaps as family, and the inspiration which we listened to today has been well reflected by both Greg O'Connor and by Fran Scholey, by the speakers, including the Grand Master. It's an inspiration to us all, and I think collectively, as you stand here, we all join in congratulating you sincerely on your wonderful achievements. Now, Grand Master, you've had a brief rest, but I invite you now to come forward again because you are there to have the pleasure, I'm sure, of presenting something to Fran Scholey and to Greg O'Connor, MP. I invite you both, Fran and Greg, to come forward too at this time.
Thank you very much for coming here to speak today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the use of your house.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Grand Master, for those presentations. Well, we have come to the end of these presentations here in the Legislative Council chamber. I hope you all have a safe journey home in time. But for the moment, I'm going to shortly invite all of those here as guests to retire when I ask you to do so from the Legislative Council chamber, but invite the recipients, if you will please, to remain behind for group photographs at this point, and they'll then join with you in the time of refreshment in the Grand Hall after that time. And so at that stage, it's my pleasure to have welcomed you here. It's also my best wishes to you all on that safe journey from here, from a wonderful inspiration that you've given us all as recipients, and the pleasure I'm sure it's given to those who have attended. Thank you all for your time.